For decades, bananas have been considered a staple of a healthy diet, especially for seniors, largely praised for their potassium content and their ease of digestion. But what if everything you thought you knew about bananas, especially their effect on blood pressure after age 60, was only part of the truth, or worse, misleading? The reality is that while bananas can be beneficial in certain contexts, there's a deeper and more shocking truth hiding beneath their yellow peel that every senior should know. When you pass the age of 60, your cardiovascular system undergoes significant changes. Arteries become stiffer, your kidneys become less efficient at excreting sodium, and your body's hormonal regulation of blood pressure starts to shift. This is where potassium becomes a key player, and bananas are often praised as potassium powerhouses. But here's the catch. A single medium banana contains only about 400 to 450 milligrams of potassium, far below the 3,500 to 4,700 milligrams daily requirement recommended for optimal blood pressure control. Most people would need to eat nearly 10 bananas a day to meet that target, which not only overwhelms the body with sugar, about 14 grams of natural sugar per banana, but also raises a hidden red flag for seniors managing insulin resistance, weight, or metabolic syndrome. In fact, the glycemic load of bananas is higher than most seniors realize, meaning they can cause a noticeable spike in blood sugar, which indirectly triggers increases in blood pressure due to insulin-related fluid retention. But that's not even the most concerning part. The real issue lies in the banana's potassium to sodium ratio and the modern diet of most seniors. The Western diet is notoriously overloaded with sodium, processed foods, canned soups, breads, and frozen meals, and unless potassium intake greatly outweighs sodium, the kidney's delicate balance is thrown off. For older adults, whose kidney function is often compromised to some degree, this imbalance becomes dangerous. Eating 1 or 2 bananas a day may actually give a false sense of protection, causing seniors to believe they're taking care of their heart health, while in reality the excess sugar may worsen insulin sensitivity, and the relatively low potassium dose may not be enough to counteract the sodium they're unknowingly ingesting. The surprising truth is that many other fruits and vegetables contain more potassium per gram than bananas, like avocados, sweet potatoes, white beans, and even spinach. These not only provide higher potassium density, but come with added fiber, magnesium, and blood pressure-lowering phytonutrients without the high sugar load. Furthermore, some studies have found that excessive banana consumption in certain seniors, especially those with reduced kidney function, can lead to hyperkalemia, a dangerous elevation of potassium in the blood that can cause irregular heartbeats or even cardiac arrest. This condition rarely affects healthy younger people, but becomes a silent threat in the elderly, particularly those who are already on blood pressure medications like ACE inhibitors or diuretics, which alter potassium handling in the body. And then there's the banana's hidden impact on gut motility. While bananas are often thought of as a gentle food for digestion, the type of banana consumed makes a big difference. Unripe green bananas contain resistant starch, which may help feed good gut bacteria and regulate blood sugar. However, most seniors eat ripe yellow bananas that are rapidly digested, leading to quick spikes in blood sugar and possible gas or bloating due to the high fructose content. This gut imbalance can further impact blood pressure by stimulating inflammatory responses in the intestines that activate the sympathetic nervous system. In simple terms, when your gut is irritated, your blood vessels can constrict and your heart rate can increase. Subtle but persistent changes that over time nudge your baseline blood pressure higher. So when we take all of this into account, the potassium paradox, the sugar surge, the hidden kidney stress, the medication interactions, and the gut-brain axis, the banana suddenly looks less like a golden health food and more like a complex nutritional gamble for anyone over 60. And that's just the beginning. What most people never realize is that the impact bananas have on blood pressure isn't only about what's in the banana itself. It's also about when and how it's consumed and what else is going on in the body at the same time. For example, Eating a banana on an empty stomach in the morning, which many seniors do as a quick breakfast or a pre-walk snack, may sound harmless, but can actually lead to an undesirable metabolic chain reaction. When you're fasting overnight, your body's insulin sensitivity is heightened, and introducing a surge of simple carbohydrates from a ripe banana can cause a rapid spike in blood glucose followed by a crash, triggering the release of cortisol and adrenaline. These stress hormones temporarily raise blood pressure and heart rate, and over time can dysregulate your body's natural circadian rhythm for cardiovascular control. Most alarming is that this blood pressure elevation often goes unnoticed because it happens subtly and is masked by the body's adaptive mechanisms, especially in people already on blood pressure medication. Speaking of medications, there's another overlooked issue. Bananas can directly interact with common drugs taken by seniors, especially ACE inhibitors like lisinopril and ARBs like losartan, which are designed to increase potassium levels in the blood as part of their mechanism of action. Adding too many bananas to your diet while on these drugs can unknowingly push your potassium levels too high, a condition known as hyperkalemia that doesn't always show symptoms right away, but can be deadly. In some seniors, it manifests as muscle weakness or fatigue, but in others it can cause sudden changes in heart rhythm that may go unnoticed until it's too late. What makes this more dangerous is that routine checkups often don't catch these mild elevations unless blood work is done specifically looking for potassium irregularities. And yet another layer of concern involves the vascular stiffness that naturally increases with age. The flexibility of arteries becomes compromised after 60, meaning blood vessels are less able to expand and contract smoothly in response to dietary inputs and hormonal changes. When bananas are consumed in excess, the sugar load they deliver can trigger low-grade inflammation, further impairing endothelial function, which is the inner lining of your blood vessels responsible for regulating blood pressure. A compromised endothelium leads to more vasoconstriction, higher systolic readings, and over time, contributes to chronic hypertension, especially when combined with other factors like dehydration, low magnesium levels, or sleep apnea, common yet often ignored contributors in older adults. Compounding this is the overlooked role of sodium-potassium ADPase, an enzyme in your cells that uses potassium to help pump sodium out, thereby lowering blood pressure. If potassium is not coming in from multiple diverse sources, leafy greens, legumes, root vegetables, then the body becomes less efficient at using the small amount of potassium from bananas to regulate this system. It's like trying to fuel a freight train with a matchstick. It's simply not enough. And when that enzyme system falters, sodium retention goes up, blood pressure rises, and seniors are left chasing stability with medications that only mask the underlying imbalance. Even more fascinating is the newly emerging research showing that bananas may cause a late-night spike in blood pressure if eaten after dinner. This happens because the body metabolizes carbohydrates more slowly in the evening, and for seniors who already have delayed insulin clearance and slower digestion, that late banana can lead to a drawn-out blood sugar rise. In turn, this can cause increased sympathetic nervous system activity while sleeping, resulting in higher nocturnal blood pressure, what scientists call non-dipping hypertension. Normally, blood pressure should drop by 10 to 20% at night to allow the heart and vessels to rest. But in non-dippers, this doesn't happen. They stay in a state of high-alert physiology that accelerates heart aging, kidney wear, and even cognitive decline. And tragically, most people don't associate a banana eaten at 8 p.m. with poor sleep, increased night sweats, or higher morning blood pressure. But the connection is very real. So while bananas might seem innocent, their physiological impact after age 60 becomes complex and potentially harmful depending on your health status, your medications, the time of day, and the state of your metabolic health. Add to that the fact that most bananas sold in supermarkets today are bred for sweetness, not nutrient density, meaning that modern varieties contain more sugar and fewer minerals than the bananas our grandparents ate in the 1950s. And this matters because seniors are often told by well-meaning caregivers or articles online to eat a banana daily for their heart, without anyone truly understanding that the fruit has changed, the body has changed, and the context has changed. What was once a natural blood pressure helper now becomes a trigger for imbalance when used in the wrong way. And we haven't even gotten to the surprising neurological link between banana-induced blood sugar swings and cognitive fog that many seniors report after breakfast. That eye-opening connection, along with what you should be eating instead to naturally lower blood pressure and support brain health, is coming up next. What researchers are now uncovering is that the routine morning banana habit among seniors may not just affect blood pressure, but also set off a cascade of neurological effects that ripple through the brain's delicate balance of neurotransmitters, energy supply, and cognitive clarity throughout the day. The human brain, especially after age 60, becomes far more sensitive to fluctuations in blood glucose and insulin, meaning even a modest glycemic spike from a sweet banana can trigger a roller coaster effect. After the initial dopamine bump that makes you feel good, what follows is often a sharp drop in energy, mood, and focus, a condition scientists refer to as postprandial hypoglycemia that becomes increasingly common in the elderly. What's shocking is that this blood sugar dip doesn't just cause sleepiness or fog. It also increases cerebral inflammation, particularly in areas like the hippocampus that govern memory formation and retention. This is why many seniors report feeling mentally off or slightly confused mid-morning, without realizing it may be tied to the high glycemic fruit they started their day with. Bananas contain a type of sugar called fructose, which bypasses certain checkpoints in the liver and goes straight into fat storage when consumed in excess or without fiber and fat to buffer it. This process leads to hepatic insulin resistance over time, and the liver is a critical organ for managing systemic blood pressure and cholesterol levels. So while bananas do contain potassium, which is traditionally praised for its ability to lower blood pressure, the net effect when eaten in isolation can be paradoxical, spiking insulin, impairing liver metabolism, and increasing overall cardiovascular strain. Complicating matters is the fact that bananas also have a moderate amount of serotonin precursors, which may sound good, but in older adults who are on SSRIs or other medications affecting brain chemistry, the added serotonin load can worsen sleep disturbances or contribute to nocturnal awakenings. In fact, some sleep specialists now advise against bananas in the evening for those over 60, citing increased rates of nighttime microarousals and REM sleep disruption in this demographic. Even more striking is the role of lectins and resistant starch in bananas, especially unripe ones. While these compounds are often considered beneficial for gut health in younger populations, in older adults with weakened digestion, low stomach acid, or pancreatic insufficiency, these same compounds can ferment improperly in the gut, leading to bloating, gas, or even altered gut microbiota that contributes to systemic inflammation and, most critically, increased arterial stiffness. Arterial stiffness is one of the primary predictors of future cardiovascular events in older adults, and anything that contributes to it, even indirectly, needs to be reevaluated carefully. Moreover, the standard advice to consume bananas for potassium is beginning to lose favor among more progressive cardiologists and geriatricians, who now point to far more bioavailable and blood pressure-friendly sources of potassium, such as avocados, cooked spinach, sweet potatoes, and lentils, all of which offer a broader spectrum of minerals without the sudden sugar surge. And beyond the biological response, there's the behavioral dimension. Many older adults who reach for bananas do so not because they crave potassium, but because it's a habit, a routine, or even nostalgia. They remember eating bananas as children, and there's a comfort in that. But the body you had at age 10 or 30 isn't the same as the one you have at age 70. and what your body tolerates changes dramatically. For instance, kidneys in older age may not filter potassium as efficiently, especially if you're pre-diabetic or already dealing with microvascular complications. That means even a safe fruit can tip the scales into danger when your filtering system is compromised. The real problem isn't the banana per se. It's the blanket dietary advice that fails to individualize recommendations for seniors who have completely different metabolic needs, absorption rates, and risks. Blood pressure control after 60 is not just about numbers on a cuff. It's about managing the subtle internal rhythms that dictate vascular tone, kidney filtration, neurochemical balance, and hormonal interplay throughout the day. Bananas, when taken out of their full dietary context, become a variable that introduces more uncertainty than benefit. Add to this the fact that most bananas are consumed without adequate hydration or protein, which are both essential for smooth blood pressure regulation. And you have a recipe for silent complications that accumulate over time. It's this long-term, low-grade physiological stress that contributes to what's now being termed diet-induced vascular fatigue, a condition that makes the body more reactive to daily fluctuations and less resilient to stressors. And because this fatigue builds gradually, most seniors don't notice it until they begin having erratic blood pressure readings, occasional lightheadedness, or new prescription changes. Unfortunately, by the time that happens, the dietary habits that caused it are already deeply ingrained. That's why it's so critical to not just look at the nutrient label on a banana, but to understand the full picture of how it behaves inside the older adult's body, in real time, under the unique hormonal and digestive environment of aging. What we'll look at next is the precise dietary pattern that helps balance potassium intake without blood sugar spikes, supports cognitive clarity throughout the day, and helps reverse early-stage hypertension, all while keeping breakfast simple, affordable, and satisfying. You'll be surprised by how small changes, like the timing of your first bite or the pairing of certain foods, can completely transform your blood pressure profile and energy levels after 60. As we wrap up this deep dive into the surprising relationship between bananas and blood pressure for seniors over 60, it's essential to emphasize that the way you eat and combine foods can dramatically change the impact on your heart health and cognitive function. Many seniors don't realize that simply shifting the timing of when you consume potassium-rich foods or pairing them with fiber, healthy fats, and lean protein can stabilize blood sugar levels and improve vascular flexibility. For example, instead of starting your day with a banana alone, try a balanced breakfast that includes a handful of nuts or a scoop of Greek yogurt alongside some berries or a slice of whole grain toast. This combo slows digestion, smooths out blood sugar spikes, and delivers potassium in a safer, more gradual way. Another key point is hydration. Drinking a glass of water before eating helps kidneys process potassium more effectively, reducing the risk of electrolyte imbalances that can worsen hypertension or cause arrhythmias. And for those who still crave the creamy sweetness of bananas, consider limiting intake to every other day or opting for greener, less ripe bananas that have lower sugar content and higher resistant starch, which feeds beneficial gut bacteria and supports overall metabolic health. Don't underestimate the power of small lifestyle tweaks either. Regular gentle exercise, stress management through mindfulness or breathing techniques, and quality sleep all synergize to keep your blood vessels supple and your heart resilient. Of course, it's vital to consult your healthcare provider before making any major dietary changes, especially if you're on blood pressure or heart medications, because interactions and potassium levels must be closely monitored. This is why personalized nutrition, where your unique health profile guides your food choices, is the future of healthy aging. It's not about demonizing any one food, but understanding the complex ways your body processes nutrients as it ages. And remember, true heart health after 60 is about consistency, balance, and listening to your body's subtle signals. If you want to live longer, feel sharper, and keep your blood pressure steady, Rethinking how and when you eat bananas and other potassium sources is a powerful step you can take today. Thanks so much for watching and being part of this channel's community where we uncover simple, evidence-based tips to help you thrive after 60. If you found this information eye-opening, don't forget to hit that like button, share with your friends and family who need to hear this, and subscribe for more life-changing health insights every week. Leave a comment below to share your experiences with bananas or managing blood pressure. We love hearing from you and learning together. Stay tuned for our next video where we'll reveal a secret morning ritual proven to support heart health and brain clarity for seniors. Until then, take care of yourself and keep making those small changes that add up to big health wins.